What's going on, everyone? So today I got a fun one for you. I've been getting asked a lot to play some Dr. Aphra. She's one of the leaders I haven't really gone over in set 2, and I figured why not, since all of you want to see it, or at least a good portion of you want to see some Dr. Aphra. I decided to go ahead and load up a Dr. Aphra list for you all, and we got some fun stuff going with, well, a little bit of infinitely cycling through our discard pile, which we'll talk about in just a moment. If you've watched my videos in the past, though, you know how I feel about Dr. Aphra in terms of power level, and well, that will certainly come into play here. Before we get started about talking about the list and Dr. Aphra herself, just quick mention, I have a TCG player link in the description down below. Be sure to use it to pick up any of the cards that you want to pick up for Star Wars Unlimited. Second thing is a big thank you to my patrons over on Patreon. We've been hanging out and, well, they've given me some pretty sweet ideas as of late, so definitely check that out. Dr. Aphra, why have I not played her? Why are we kind of lower on her as a community in terms of power level? Well, she is a cunning villainy leader, which to start off with is the same aspects as Boba Fett. And so you can play like a Boba Blue control variant. And generally speaking, you're going to have stronger results. Now, with Dr. Aphra, at the start of the regroup phase, we must discard a card from our deck. Now, normally it doesn't really do anything for you. If you're playing green or command, you could be playing Palpatine's Return to return some force units. The way this is going to be helping in this deck is we have a combination of Dr. Aphra's ability, Restock, Bounty Hunter Crew, Vigilance, and Search Your Feelings. These kind of 4 cards work together. The idea behind this is we're going to be discarding cards to the top of our deck. We're going to be able to restock them back in. If we can't find a restock, or we maybe have discarded a restock, we can then play a Bounty Hunter's Crew to return that restock to our hand. By restocking our cards back on the bottom of our library, we can use things like Search Your Feelings to shuffle them back in so that we have a way higher chance of drawing them if we're not at the bottom of the deck already. And then Vigilance is the card that we're really looking to kind of refresh, because we're looking to stay alive, so healing, defeating things is helpful, but also mill out our opponents in a decent chunk of these matchups. You know, things like Han Blue, things like, well, any control variant, Hondo Green, things like that. That's where we're really going ahead and milling out people. Of course, in the Sabine Green matchup, the Boba Yellow matchups, that's not really going to be applicable all too often. We're really just trying to stay alive in those matchups. So that's kind of the plan, the game plan. We will be milling out a lot of people, but the main game plan is staying alive. And so that's what our deck is mainly trying to do, with the backup of the combo as our win condition. And if not, we have other win conditions in the deck. Dr. Aphra's flip side is actually a 2/5, and she flips for 5, which is not too bad. And anytime we have 5 or more different costs among cards in our discard pile, she gets +3/+0, so it flips into a 5/5. And that's something that we really want to consider. So we have a lot of cards across the curve, and we're going to be very likely to have 5 different cards in our resource or in a discard pile by the time we can flip Aphra, especially since we're going to be playing events as well as discarding from the top of our deck. Now, on top of all that, anytime we deploy Dr. Aphra, or when we deploy Dr. Aphra, we could choose 3 cards in our discard pile with different names and return one of them at random to our hand. So let's say we've gone through our game and we, well, turns out have an Inferno for a Client and a Vigilance in our discard pile. We could choose all 3 of them, and then we'll get one at a 33% chance back in our hand, which is kind of interesting. Basically, this deck is a lot of a toolbox sort of deck where we'll have access to a lot of different cards at any given moment in the deck, and we're looking to leverage that fact alongside the potential of milling out our opponent to really stall out the game and just get a ton of value going. Now, what else are we running? Well, we're running a lot of removal and a lot of units to trade in the early game. Things like Greedo, Inferno 4, a Cloud Rider, all kind of just trade off in the early game to prevent early pressure. Dr. Pershing allows us to draw a bunch of additional cards by pinging himself. I'm not a huge fan of Dr. Pershing, but in this deck, I actually do like it just because it gives us another 2 resource play to play, which, you know, helps with Dr. Aphra's flip side ability and one other card in our deck, which is pretty important, honestly, as well as gives us more toolbox options and helps us get to the bottom of our deck, which is something that is relevant. In our 3-drop slots, we've got ourselves Making Openings, Power of the Dark Sides, Frozen, and Carbonites. These are really coming in to kind of control the board after your opponent's played a turn 1 play. 4-drop slot, we got ourselves Lieutenant Childsons, And Search Your Feelings, although Search Your Feelings is a little bit more of a mid to late game play, not necessarily on the turn 3. We also have Takedowns and Fell the Dragons as more removal. In the 5-drop slot, we've got nothing. 6 drops, we have Vigilance. Since this is a cunning Vigilance deck, we can't play it for 4. So 6 costed Vigilance. We have a Rival's Fall, an Evacuate, kind of like early Wrath, or early way to remove units from the board and Evacuate just to stall out the game. And Rival's Fall to pick off one very important unit. And then our 7-drop slot, we have Fennec Shand. Fennec Shand's actually pretty sweet in this deck because you have to deal 1 damage to a defender for each different cost among cards in your discard pile. So this actually will end up doing a ton of damage. And this is going to usually hit for, let's assume we have a 1, 2, 3, 4 in our resource pile, maybe like a 6. That's going to be, well, 5 damage on ambush. And remember, if we kill that unit on the ambush attack, Fennec doesn't actually take any damage. This could actually pick off basically anything as a removal and leave behind a nice body. So pretty interesting with Fennec Shand. And then in our 8 drops and 9 drops, we have kind of our recover from a losing position and win the game card. Super Laser Blast, remove all the units. Snokes and Avengers to close out the game or control the game a little bit more frequently. This is definitely an interesting list, and we're going to have some fun with it. But I wouldn't be expected to get absolutely, or I wouldn't be surprised, I should say, to get absolutely run over in certain matchups. There are a lot of different things that you can do to this deck to help against certain matchups over others. And, well, that's going to really be relegated to the sideboard most of the times. Things like Top Target can help, etc. But we'll be talking about that more as we go into our final thoughts after we played a few games. So let's not waste any more time and let's dive right into some games. Okay, into our first matchup, and we got a tough one in Han Blue. It's definitely one of the more meta decks here, if not one of the most meta decks. This is a tough matchup because they have a Crate Dragons that they can accelerate into, but they also have just like every single turn they can play a powerful threat. Podameron comes down, they can defeat things like Frozen and Carbonite. All of it is just a little bit tricky against the Han Blue player. We have a pretty good hand. I'm going to go and resource this Snoke, and I will probably actually resource this Frozen Carbonite. Again, in this matchup, it can be okay, but I'm really not that excited about it. They're going to play a Worst Share Tree Tender. That makes it easy. We're just going to Cloud Rider ambush kill it and just remove that potential off the board. Drew ourselves another Cloud Rider, which could be potentially interesting. They do have a lot of 4 resource plays like Kanan and K2 that they would want to play that Cloud Rider is actually pretty good against. And so in this spot, I'm actually going to resource the Rival's Fall. And that might not seem like obvious at first glance, but if I was against a different deck, I would not do this. But because Han specifically deals a lot of damage to their own units, you could see this. Boom, Cloud Rider, kill another unit. And it looks like we have milled a Fell the Dragon, and now we've milled an Inferno 4. These are pretty unlucky to be milling, to be honest, because really what we're wanting to see is different cost units, and we're not seeing that right now. So let's go ahead and just play out a Lieutenant Childson. It is now dwarfing the K2SO, so now they're going to have to do something like Fell the Dragon if they would like to get rid of it, and for us, that's actually pretty good. Looks like we got a Frozen Carbonite in the resource pile, but if they like Fell the Dragon here, we can Power the Dark Side and Inferno 4, which is pretty nice as well. It still gets rid of that K2. So we're actually starting off this game really, really quite strong. They're reverting a whole turn after I revealed my hand. All right. I mean, they better make the same play, is all I'm saying. So they're going to make the same play, and I'm going to make the same play. They're going to claim initiative. We're going to pass. Don't necessarily think that reverting a whole turn when someone plays a child sit is all that amazing. Takedown, okay. We're going to Power the Dark Side. Again, pretty straightforward. So we have 1, 2, 3 different cost cards in our resource pile or our discard pile, which is pretty bad. Like, that is just a pretty bad set of options. That's going to be a Vigilance here or a Inferno 4 discarded. Can I choose to discard? Okay, there we go. Surprised our opponent didn't hit us, but I can kind of get it. They're going to claim initiative. That's fine. Make an opening pretty irrelevant at this point in the game. So we're going to go ahead and resource that. Got a restock of the grid in the discard pile, which is quite nice, as that is a one cost event. That gives us 1, 2, 3, 4 different costs. That's going to be a Han Solo. Let's flip a Dr. Aphra here, because I'm going to get Fel the Dragon. I'm going to get a Power of the Dark Side, and I'm going to get a restock. So this, if we get a restock, that's kind of nice, or kind of weak. I was really hoping for the Fel the Dragon or Power of the Dark Side, but unfortunately, we did not get that. That's going to be a Mace Windu, huh? Okay, that's fine. Let's go Vigilance, defeat, mill. So defeat that Han, mill them 6. Or make them discard 6 units off the top of their deck. Let's claim initiative. And now we're really looking for like a super laser blast is what I'm really hoping for. This restock is looking pretty bad here, so I'm actually just going to resource it. Discarded a vigilance off the top of our deck. Fel the Dragon can be pretty good. Don't need to waste any time. Let's just drop a Greedo in. If they want to kill Greedo, that's fine with me. I really don't mind that. But this also lets us keep up Fel the Dragon without just simply passing. So we're going to activate Han Solo. And they're going to play a Kanan. So here's what's interesting. I'm just going to power the dark side, because if they defeat their Han Solo, then we can kill their Kanan with Greedo. And so this actually just kills their Greedo. And they're going to pillage us. So secondary pillage is pretty brutal against us. They have now, or not secondary pillage, just the first pillage. I thought they used another pillage, but just because we've gone through so many cards, them pillaging us is pretty nice for them. So we have Fennec Shan. Now, what do we have in our discard pile? We have an 8, 4, 3. So that's 1, 2, 3. Remember, Vigilance is a 4 cost event. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 different cost events, which means that I am just going to pass, and I'm just going to drop a Fennec and then kill their Han. Mainly because if they play a Crate Dragon here, we are in trouble. But we can kill it with a combination of attack with Fennec and attack with Greedo. And heck, they can't even ready up or play a Crate Dragon because we've killed their Han. So let's just go ahead and kill Mace Windu. They had a second Mace Windu, which ended up being pretty nice. There's a restock. There's a Dr. Pershing. Don't even know if Dr. Pershing really is what I want here. Not even sure if restock's what I want, but restock will be a nice combination with Search Your Feelings. Oh boy. So we could play restock before Search Your Feelings, and then we could Search Your Feelings for a Power of the Dark Side, but they could hit us for a total of 8 damage. I mean, that's just what we have to do. So we're going to restock. We're going to put Vigilance, Power of the Dark Side back. Whoops, I could have done 4. I don't know why I only clicked 3. I should have picked another option. Let's go Search Your Feelings. We're going to grab a Power of the Dark Side. There you are. And we're going to Power the Dark Side. So that's 1 Crate Dragon down. That's 2 Mace Windus down. There's a Poe Dameron down. I mean, we are fighting. We are fighting. Ooh, Evacuate is not what I wanted to see. Alongside an Inferno 4. We're fighting. We're battling, okay? But we are really kind of not drawing what we want to be drawing. I don't even think we resource anything here. I think we're just going to have to stall really, really hard. Let's go Inferno 4. Bottom. Don't care about either of those cards. And if they just don't do anything... Okay, they're going to play an A-Wing, huh? All right, let's claim initiative here, because we could always use the Evacuate next turn. And ooh, that is a Vigilance, and I actually really do like Vigilance here. So let's go Vigilance. Mill. Defeat. Heal? I think I actually like heal. So let's attack their A-Wing. And we got we didn't get another Crate Dragon. I'm really trying to hit their Crate Dragon here. They're going to get in for 4, and they might drop a bunch of threats here. Force Throw, hitting my Evacuate. Ooh, brutal. That is super brutal. But we could draw into a Super Laser Blast, and look at that. We actually did. Now, if we were to top both, or if I were to bottom both of these, we actually lose a Super Laser Blast. So I have to put the Avenger above the Super Laser Blast because we are going to be in a spot where the Avenger gets discarded from the top of my deck. So let's go Super Laser Blast, just wipe the board. That is what we were looking for, and Inferno 4 actually dug us to it. They have another Chewbacca, so they are really kind of drawing all their expensive stuff. But that's kind of what Han Blue does, right? That's kind of what Han Blue does. Double Dr. Pershing is not what I want to be seeing. That was a pretty awful draw. We've discarded a takedown. So now we have, let's see, we have one Super Laser Blast left in the deck. And we're probably going to have to draw to it here. If they have a Crate Dragon here, then we have lost. Oops, they have a Cassian, so they're going to hit us for 3, and we have 5 HP left. And now we just need to deal with this Chewbacca. They have a Sabine Wren. And we did not draw ourselves a Super Laser Blast, which is pretty unfortunate, considering it's one of the 10 cards left in our deck. And that's going to be GG. So pretty nice for our opponent. Han Blue, like I said, tough matchup. They're playing a bomb every single turn. They have a million discard spells. They're just going to be discarding our hand. It's just a really bad matchup for us, to be honest. But that's that. Let's move on to our next one. Okay, into our next matchup, and against a Tarkin or a Krennic Red. Definitely going to be a fun one. I'm going to resource the Super Laser Blast and the Greedo. Now, I actually am just going to go with a Dr. Pershing on turn 1. Now, red usually, or aggression here, is usually going to indicate a little bit more of an aggressive focused deck. Oh, wow. What a surprise. Aggression is aggressive. But that's just generally how villainy aggression tends to lean towards. So I'm actually going to go with the Dr. Pershing to try to give me more options. The other thing to note is with the Greedo, it really kind of puts our resources in an awkward spot. Because if we go 1 resource spent turn 1, and then we go 3 resources spent turn 2, Dr. Pershing probably should just be resourced at some point. And hey, look at that. The Pike Sentinel, not really something that we are scared about at all. And look at that. That's all 3 Greedos drawn. Let's go ahead and resource that Greedo. I can kill the Pike Sentinel, but it might just be that I want to get down this client. They said that. This is a veiled shot. Nice. Love it. I love when I get to play with you all and you all say, "Whoa, it's veiled shot." I just think it's cool. I think it's cool to see kind of people knowing each other in the community, because I do the same. They're like, "Oh, I remember this name," and I'm like, "Wait, is this person?" Of course, like, you know, I make videos, so it helps. But anyways, let's go ahead and just start off by drawing a card with Dr. Pershing. And look at that, we drew an Inferno 4. So playing out a Greedo here alongside an Inferno 4 would have worked reasonably well. But we're just going to go ahead and play out our client. And if our opponent has some way to kill something, I probably just get rid of the Dr. Pershing. They have a 5th brother, totally fine. We drew Evacuate and Make an Opening. So Make it or Evacuate's not really something that I'm going to be interested in doing here. But I might, let's see here. I think I'm just going to deal a damage to Dr. Pershing. Get an additional... He's on the stream. You are on a video. You are on a video. But I think they might consider actually just killing my Dr. Pershing. And look at that. Tauntaun Tamer says hello, YouTube. So hello, YouTube. They might consider just trying to kill my Dr. Pershing here. This is the type of matchup where Dr. Pershing can actually get some decent value going, because we are kind of going to be going into the late game, and me just having a lot of different options. It's going to be pretty good. By the way, what I have discarded so far is going to be the Snoke and the Greedo. Looks like they went ahead and just killed my Dr. Pershing, which is totally reasonable. Let's go ahead and just bounty up the 5th brother. And we're going to go ahead and just kill it with the takedown, most likely. We much prefer to preserve our own HP over hitting our opponent's base because we are trying to go and kill people with vigilance. Okay, that's not an easy thing to do. So we need to be nice and healthy. Let's see what our opponent decides to do. Fifth Brother is awesome in Krennic, by the way. Let's see if he decides to hit the client. Okay, so he's going to hit the client. We're just going to take down Fifth Brother. We're going to heal 2. That's totally fine. They do have Tarkin Town, so they can Tarkin Town away the client, and that's totally fine. They're going to Tarkin Town. That's fine. And we drew ourselves Fell the Dragon, which might be relevant. I'm going to go on and resource one of the Inferno 4s. We've also discarded a Power of the Dark Side. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different cost cards. Let's start off with an Inferno 4, and that's going to be a Frozen and Carbonite. Oh, whoops. We're going to Inferno 4, and we're going to top the Vigilance, top the Frozen and Carbonite, because we want to discard the Frozen and Carbonite, and we want to get the Vigilance on top. But here, I'm playing the Inferno 4 first because neither of these units deal 4 damage, and we have 0 HP on our base. So the reason I went with this direction is if they attack for 3 with the Pike Sentinel, then we get to heal 2 of the damage, and we still get down our Inferno 4, and we are able to go ahead and just kind of take our initiative, which is going to be pretty important. They're getting down Krennic early, which isn't a bad thing for them to be doing by any means, but it is something that, you know, they might regret because we're going to have ways to really kind of just remove all their units pretty quickly, especially since they have low powered units, right? So we're going to attack with an Inferno 4. That's a Super Laser Blast and a Client. I'm going to top. I'd very much like to draw a secondary Super Laser Blast, so I like that. Attack into System Patrol Craft. They may consider just attacking with it, and we are going to defeat and mill. This might seem a little bit strange to mill out our opponent or to make them discard 6 cards from their deck. But we're not really under that much pressure, and we do have a Super Laser Blast plus another one on top of our deck. So our opponent's going to have to put on some good pressure. Otherwise, it doesn't really matter, right? And remember, we can ready up Aphra. Right now, if we were to ready up Aphra, we could get Power of the Dark Side, a Vigilance, or a Takedown back, all of which seem pretty good. And if I were to choose those 3, I would still have a 4 resource play. I would still have a 3 resource play. So we'd have 1, 2, 3. We should be able to be a 5/5 here. Almost, or in fact, just guaranteed with the choices that I make here. So let's go ahead and do so. So that's going to be a 5/5. We get ourselves a Power of the Dark Side back. And now this can one-shot the Baze Malbus, which can be pretty nice. And this just gives us a little bit more kind of pressure on our opponent to put pressure on. And what I mean by that is our opponent really wants to be able to kill, you know, what we got going on over here. And they can't really. So they have a Death Trooper. We're going to hit the Krennic here. And we're going to see if they decide to hit the base. Nope. We're going to claim initiative. They have a Death Watch Loyalist. Wow. Okay. So why didn't we discard? Oh, because Aphra is out in play. Here, I think we kind of want to start with. So if we think about it, if we attack Baze and they attack with any one of these units, we play Power of the Dark Side. They've already attacked for 3. If we play Power of the Dark Side first, they defeat like Death Trooper. They get to attack for 5. They get 5, 8, 11 damage versus 9 damage. So yeah, we should start off by hitting Baze. And they didn't resource anything. They're just going to attack straight out. And they have 9 power, so they're going to hit us for a lot of damage. Let's play a Power of Dark Side since we have multiple in our hand. If our opponent wants to defeat Krennic, that's fine. Since it's just gone. And makes them maybe think that we don't have Super Laser Blast. Let's go ahead and play a restock, and let's restock Vigilance, Power of the Dark Side, a restock, and a Snoke. Do I want to get Snoke out of our resource pile? Actually, I don't actually think I do. I think I actually want to get a make an opening here. because I'd rather keep an 8-drop in our resource pile or in our discard pile just to keep that extra cost in there for things like Fennec if we draw Fennec. They're going to attack with Deathwatch Loyalists potentially. They might just take initiative. That's not unreasonable of a decision to make. They're going to play a Ruthless Raider. So we're going to claim initiative, and that's going to be pretty dangerous. We are under a lot of pressure here. And in fact, if they just straight up have another Ruthless Raider, we are just dead. There is basically nothing that we can do about it. So let's go Super Laser Blast. They're going to hit us for 2. And earlier, and they have another Ruthless Raider. All right. Earlier, they have Daring Raid too. It didn't matter. They kind of had a great combinations of cards. Good game from our opponents. That was just really tough, right? We had that situation where our opponent didn't have much pressure on us, but then they had the Death Trooper to make their base +3 power, and that immediately kind of changed the game for us. What a sweet deck for our opponent, doing the Ruthless Raider and the Fifth Brother with Krennic. Ended up being doing some pretty nice work against us. They could have just played the Death Trooper just to pump up their base Malbus anyways, so it wasn't super relevant that we flipped Aphra or anything like that. There was a spot where I could have healed 5 instead of milling them 6. If I did that, I would be at 26 HP right now, and I could pass the turn. I could power the dark side, the Ruthless Raider away. We'd be at 28. And if our opponent ever drew another Ruthless Raider or Daring Raid in that time, then I would still be dead. So it's possible that I could have lived. It depends on our opponent's hand and what they drew, right? But that's something that I could have changed to potentially lived. I was just, again, trying to see if I could get the game potentially a little bit accelerated. But that usually doesn't happen with Dr. Aphra, I'll say that much. On to the next one. Into our next matchup against a Thrawn Green player. So definitely not a meta list. Seems like a fine hand to me. A restock could be kind of relevant, although it might be just the card at resource alongside one of these 2 resource plays, probably the Inferno 4. I don't know. Our opponent is Cunning Villainy, so Inferno 4 might just be a necessity. Maybe it's just the restock and the Search Your Feelings, and just go with both 2 resource plays. Because I could start off with the Dr. Pershing, since I have initiative, and if our opponent plays a 2 resource play, we deal damage, and then we can play Inferno 4 to kill their TIE Phantom. And the reason why I kept the TIE Inferno 4 is because of TIE Phantom. If our opponent's a TIE Phantom, then we need to kill it. Otherwise, the game is going to be really tough when we have things like Power of the Dark Side and stuff like that. And of course, we don't just have a lot of ways to kill it. Make an opening is like one of our only ways, or attacking it with Avenger or Inferno 4, but that's why we kept Inferno 4. Playing out a Dr. Pershing is nice. Our opponent plays a Bounty Posting. Interesting. Okay, we're going to claim initiative. We've discarded a Cloud Rider, and we have a Greedo, a Vigilance, and a Super Laser Blast, and a Fennec. I think in this spot, I actually would like to resource this Super Laser Blast. I'm just going to start off by dealing a damage to Dr. Pershing to draw a card, to our another Greedo. That's going to be a Hunter of the Haxian Brood. Let's go Inferno 4, bottom the Greedo. We'll top the Pershing so we can discard it. I guess I should have topped both, potentially. Let's play a Greedo. And let's pass. We milled the Dr. Pershing. We have another Frozen in Carbonite, and another Inferno 4, and a Frozen in Carbonite. So their Hunter is going to get killed by my Greedo here, but they're going to be able to go ahead and get some sort of thing from this Bounty Hunter's Quarry, which is nice. Let's resource this Inferno 4. Opponent's going to go ahead and kill my Dr. Pershing, almost assuredly. I'd be very surprised if they do not. And I suppose they could kill the Greedo, but that doesn't seem very good to do. Especially since Dr. Pershing has the bounty on him, and you're not even going to lose the shield by attacking Dr. Pershing. Wow, enticing reward, huh? Okay. Let's just draw. Snow Trooper Lieutenant, huh? Weird. Kind of a weird Snow Trooper Lieutenant. It's not. They could have killed my Dr. Pershing. I'm surprised they played Snow. I guess they wanted to deploy something to their board. So, enticing reward, they get to get 2 non-unit cards. They reveal 2 triple arc raids. Oof. And then they play the Black Sun Starfighter. Okay. Let's go ahead and attack it. Attack the Black Sun Starfighter. Come on. Let's go ahead and bottom top. And ideally, we hit this. Oh, wait. That was not what I wanted to do. I was trying to get a non-unit card at the top of my deck, so I should have bought them both. But I was gonna say, ideally we attack. Oh, they're gonna reveal the client. Okay, let's just Frozen and Carbonite the Hunter, and I think we're just gonna be. No, they're gonna be claiming initiative. We're gonna be passing. So we milled the client. Didn't matter anyway since they were able to exhaust my Greedo. But I was thinking that if we could hit a non-unit, then we could hit this Snow Trooper Lieutenant, defeat the shield, play another Greedo, and then we're setting up for just killing the Greedo. But, you know. Something to note. So our opponent has a lot of bounties, which are not very good against us. We just happen to have a lot of units in our draw here. On the other note, this Child Sin is like 3/3 Sentinel, which is pretty bad. I'd like to get rid of this. Drawing double Child Sin is not exactly where I wanted to be. See what they attack with this Snow Trooper Lieutenant. They could be attacking with the Snow Trooper Lieutenant at Greedo. I wouldn't be surprised if that was the case. Ends up working out for us since we have another Greedo. What does our opponent got? They're playing Enticing Reward. Remember, they have double Triple Dark Raid. Yeah, let's just go ahead and attack their base for 3, since they're going to want to kill the Greedo to claim the bounty. Sure, we'll discard a card. It's a Power of the Dark Side. We get to hit their Hunter for 2. Even though, like, that shouldn't be relevant, there's no reason not to do it. Let's go ahead and play another Greedo. Why didn't they claim the bounty? Did they? Huh. Did they not get any cards off the top of their deck that were non-units? I guess it makes sense. If you're playing Snow Trooper Lieutenant, Black Sun Starfighter, like playing Enticing Reward and Bounty Hunter's Quarry and Bounty Posting, like this is like a lot of non-units, but then also at the same time, you got to play a lot of units for Bounty Hunter's Quarry to be working. It's a tricky deck. Like already playing Enticing Reward, Bounty Posting, and Bounty Hunter's Quarry all in the same deck is a little bit tricky. Waiting for my opponent to make their move. Okay, they have a Boba Fett. See no reason not to just claim initiative here. Drew our secondary Vigilance, which looks pretty good here. But I think I'm just going to go ahead and take down the Boba Fett. I don't really care to flip over Dr. Aphra yet. We have 2 drops, 3 drops, and a 1 drop and a 4 drop. So not quite a 5/5 yet. Triple Dark Raid comes down. They have a Gladiator Star Destroyer, huh? Not exactly the card I was expecting to see. Okay, this one's got Sentinel. I think I might just want to kill or trade with that. Here, if I flip Aphra, I can choose Dr. Pershing, Power of the Dark Sign, and the Client. And I will draw one of those. I can also choose Takedown if I want it. I don't really care about Takedown. Let's just flip Aphra, Power of the Dark Side, a Pershing, and actually Cloud Rider looks pretty good here. Okay, we got a Dr. Pershing. I was thinking Power of the Dark Side is going to be good for next turn. And if we get one of our 2 resource plays, we can play that this turn, which is also pretty nice. So we're just going to drop the Dr. Pershing here. And reveal Super Laser Blast, which is on top of our deck. So it's not going to be discarded any longer. They can exhaust Greedo or Dr. Aphra, but giving Sentinel to the Hunter and then exhausting stuff kind of doesn't really matter. Let's play Dr. Pershing. I was kind of just using Dr. Aphra to draw a card. We're going to claim initiative. They can flip Thrawn and attack, but that's not really going to be all that relevant either. So not exactly that worried about anything our opponent can do here. Oh, they're going to flip Thrawn. Okay, they're going to attack our base. They're going to reveal the Super Laser Blast. And that's going to be that. Okay, so we have a Frozen and Carbonite, Double Vigilance, a Fennec. Fennec currently hits for 4. So Fennec can kill Thrawn if we deal a damage to him. Might just want to go ahead and draw a card with Dr. Pershing. Another Super Laser Blast. That could be relevant here. Ooh, okay. Let's discard the Rival's Fall to hit this for 5 or for 2 more. And then Fennec Shand can actually go ahead and kill Thrawn for free. Pretty nice. And that's going to give us another resource with the Rival's Fall to actually make this a 5/5. Because we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 in our discard pile. What do we got, opponent? What do we got? With Triple Dark Raid. This is a very odd deck. Wow. Okay. Blizzard Assault AT-AT. Getting enticing reward, bounty hunters, quarry, bounty posting, and Triple Dark Raid all to work is tough. That's a tough ask. But they're doing it. Okay, so Power of the Dark Side, Frozen and Carbonite, make an opening is probably the weakest here. And I think here I'm just going to mill and shield my Fennec Shand. I could kill their Hunter, the Haxian Brood, I guess. It doesn't cost me any life points on my Dr. Pershing or on my Fennec Shand, so maybe that's worthwhile. Yeah, why not? Let's just go ahead and kill the Hunter. This activates Power of the Dark Side, or turns on Power of the Dark Side, because before it wasn't actually going to be relevant. We also have another Frozen and Carbonite, if that matters. They're down 2 Triple Dark Raids. They have Blizzard Assault AT-ATs in their deck. They also have Gladiator Star Destroyers in their deck. One of each is actually in their hand right now. See what our opponent's got. I feel like the game is pretty under our control at this point in the game. And again, we could hit their base, but Fennec doesn't really do that much damage to a base. When they have a Blizzard Assault AT-AT. Okay, let's just go ahead and Power the Dark Side that away. We could stall out the game, ready up our Fennec Shand next turn, right? It just seems worthwhile to do that. And look at that. We drew ourselves an Avenger, which is a great, great addition. Now, we could probably resource this Cloud Rider and keep our double Super Laser Blast, double Vigilance, and Avenger. Looks like they're going to exhaust the Fennec Shand. What do you got? Oh, I thought they were activating Thrawn. Never mind. Maybe they don't. Anything they play in the ground space. So they have a Blizzard Assault AT-AT. Okay, we're just going to Avenger that away. And now I don't even know what our opponent could do. I think we just end the game by hitting them, which is a little bit sad, but you know, I guess that's how we end the game. I was hoping for a little bit more excitement, you know? Get some Vigilance Mills or something like that. Let's attack for 4, and then pass. Cloud Rider, another Pershing. I guess we'll resource the Pershing at this point. We basically want to resource every turn, because there's going to be a lot of turns where we use like 1,000,000 resources because of restock and because of things like Bounty Hunter's Crew, Search Your Feelings, etc. So they have to deal with this Avenger. If they don't, then anything they play just dies. If They play a ground unit that's not like a Blizzard Assault AT-AT. It just dies to Fennec. What do you got? Opponent? What do you have? They do have ECL, which they don't really have a great option for ECL. I guess if they have their own. Okay, another triple dark raid. That's fine. The very last triple dark raid. Anything they play or any vehicle that they get here, I don't think is going to be relevant. Like they could get maybe Devastator. They do have a Devastator. Okay. So Devastator is obviously quite solid. Wow, yeah, Devastator is a good one. I think here I'm actually just going to heal, and mill. Because they're going to hit us for 10. Not really that much we can do about it. It's going to bounce back to their hand. They can kill the Fennec Shand afterwards, but that's what they're going to want to be doing next turn. So I may as well use my resources here for something different. And then we can Super Laser Blast next turn. There's no point in Frozen and Carbonating the Devastator, which is just going to bounce back to their bounce back to their hand. Jeez. I was like, what is relevant here? Devastator. Nice. All right, let's claim initiative. Devastator's going to bounce back. We get to kill their Crafty Smuggler with our Fennec. Bounty Hunter's crew, search your feelings. Okay, not bad, not bad. We could Bounty Hunter's crew here to get back a Power of the Dark Side. But we're just going to attack Crafty Smuggler, get that off the board. And we haven't resourced a Power of the Dark Side, and we've only discarded 2 of them. Oh, we discarded all 3. Never mind. I was thinking that maybe we could have gotten a Power of the Dark Side off this Search Your Feelings for this Devastator, but probably not, it looks like. So here, I mean, they just play another Devastator. I don't really know what other card you'd want to play. Enticing Reward. Okay, that makes things a little bit more interesting. Because now we get to Shield Mill. And there goes Reinforcement Walker, Gladiator, Star Destroyer, Bounty Hunter's Quarry. And we can actually Frozen and Carbonite the Devastator because it's not going to do anything. What do you got, opponent? We could always Bounty Hunter Quarry or Bounty Hunter Crew back the restock, which then we could restock Vigilance and restock and Power the Dark Side and start cycling. Okay, they have a Hunter of the Haxian Brood. Let's search your feelings. What do we want to grab here? I guess our last Vigilance, an Avenger, Takedown. I think it's just the last Vigilance. It's going to kill their Hunter and mill them for the last cards in their deck. Okay, let's claim initiative. Okay, they had nothing, which is awesome because we get to kill Phase 3 Dark Troop with Fennec and then kill the Hunter with the Vigilance and then mill them. And we're not going to take a single point of damage because we're shielded, so that's also great. And the game should be over now because they have essentially the 4 cards in their deck to kill us. Unless they're able to kill Fennec, and then they have the 3 cards in their hand plus potentially 2 more out of their deck to win. And that's not really going to be that easy for them. So we are going to mill them out this game, which is cool. ECL, huh? So they want to resolve the ambush attack first. Okay, that works as well. Not sure why they're working so hard to kill my... I mean, I guess they kind of have to because they got nothing else, but let's go ahead and defeat mill. So we milled their last kind of garbage cards or early drops. Not that they're playing garbage card, but like last kind of mediocre early plays plus the finalizer. They have a Gladiator Star Destroyer. I'm surprised they haven't played Devastator yet. Again, that's kind of what I would have expected at this point, but that's okay. I mean, I'm not too upset. I'm gonna be honest. Let's go ahead and play a Frozen and Carbonite. And I mean, they just don't have any card in their hand that can deal with this. Like there's nothing in the whole game of Star Wars Unlimited that can win here, unless they have like restock into draw a bunch into restock over and over and over again. And we didn't have Bounty Hunter's Crew or anything like that. They're gonna start drawing, taking 6 damage. Like unless they were playing restock and they were going to try to go that direction, I don't even know like what one card could do anything here. Okay, they ended their action because they did not want to resource. It's not like it's relevant. They lost. There's nothing that they could do here. Let's resource this, make an opening. They can play their Devastator. That's fine. We will put a bounty on it and then end up healing 5 from it after this Super Laser Blast goes off. This is just the final touches. They cannot do anything here. Put a bounty on it, and we will Super Laser Blast, heal 5. We could attack them here, to be honest, and kill them, but hey, if our opponent wants to play things to the bitter end, I will go ahead and Super Laser Blast them. And then have them die to drawing their cards. I could have attacked their base and then just passed, so that I would have killed them, but as I said, this is more fun. Pretty interesting deck from our opponent. We kind of got to see all of it. A lot of expensive vehicles, I will say that much. Gladiator Star Destroyer, pretty sweet. It looks like 1 copy of Reinforcement, unless they resourced it earlier. The Blizzard Assault AT-AT is not something I would have expected. It's not a card I have seen ever, I don't think, in Premiere. But hey, sweet brew, and they almost got me. They almost got me a little bit there in the middle stage of the game in terms of dealing some damage to me. But that Fennec Shand was just awesome. It just kind of controlled the whole board for the whole game. All right, next matchup is against Blue Luke, which is kind of fun. This seems like a pretty good hand. I am not going to mulligan this. I think I'm going to resource the... Oh, man. I want to keep Vigilance. It's pretty important. Don't want that to be in my resource pile pretty much ever. It could just be the Super Laser Blast. It could also be Lieutenant Childson, but I think I'm going to go with the Fennec Shannon Super Laser Blast just to have my guaranteed earlier plays. I'm really hoping they play something in the ground here. They're not going to, which is totally fine. Let's just go ahead and claim initiative. I don't even think playing the Cloud Rider is relevant. I'd rather just have a bigger Childson. Claim initiative. Let's resource one of these Cloud Riders. Let's go ahead and play out our client. And I think I will take the 2 damage from the Gray Squadron A-Wing rather than dealing it to my client to go ahead and save the shield on it, at least for now. They can't have Power of the Dark Side since they're double blue heroism. They could have Vigilance next turn, but they're really relying on like takedowns, Fell the Dragons, things like that, I'm assuming. We did discard a Vigilance, by the way, in our discard pile. So not an exciting one to see in the discard pile, but, you know, hey, that's something. They are... Okay, they definitely should have attacked there. We claimed initiative, and they just did not attack. So that was a free 3 damage or 1 damage taking off a shield there. But they just didn't attack, so... Definitely something that they should have done. Let's go ahead and attack in for 2 here. They play attack, huh? All right, let's go Childson, reveal. That's going to be able to kill their tech. Maybe they're trying to smuggle something out. Maybe they have takedown or whatever. I'm not sure. They're trying to give a shield token. They do not have another resource. They could use their security complex if they want to do so. Security complexing tech makes a decent amount of sense to me. If they're trying to like go longer in the game, they're trying to protect it. That seems fine. We're going to claim initiative. We discarded a Dr. Pershing, by the way, in our discard pile. So we currently have 2 aspects in there, or 2 costs in there. They haven't attacked me at all, which is kind of funny. Okay. Take 3. They attack with 1. Sure. Would love to draw like a takedown. Power of the dark side. Kind of meh. I'm going to hit tech here with the client, just to get rid of that shield token. And we're going to see what our opponent decides to do. They play a Jedi lightsaber. Okay, well, that's awkward. We will kill tech with the Fell the Dragon that we now can use. So that ended up being pretty good for us. They can go ahead and deal damage to our base. Let's just go ahead and attack for 5 with Child Sin, because we're actually winning this race, and then we will claim initiative. There's this chance I want to heal 10 next turn with the client bounty plus vigilance, but we will see. Dr. Pershing, Power of the Dark Side, Takedown, or we just do Takedown plus Dr. Pershing. Lots of 4 resource plays in our discard pile, so we're not really going to get a full powered up Aphra yet, but let's attack for 5 with Child Sin. We are putting on a lot of pressure for them. They can't vigilance any of our units in terms of defeating them, which is pretty relevant, but they have a Fen Rao. Oh, okay. Fen Rao is pretty good. Fen Rao, they're going to give something -2/-2. I suppose that could be the Lieutenant Child Sin here. Okay, let's go ahead and put a bounty on the Y-Wing. If they attack here, I'll make Child Sin take 2 damage, because they're going to attack it with Luke. And that means that... Oh, I'm a little bit surprised that they decided to do that. Okay, so let's go Vigilance. Defeat Shield. So we're going to defeat... and then shield up the Child Sin. So now Child Sin's going to survive this attack, and then we can follow up with Takedown on Luke. This is actually going to be really nice for us. I was thinking we were going to heal 10, but the shield token ended up being pretty good since they went with the Fen Rao. They're putting a shield token on the Fen Rao. Makes sense to me. We're claiming initiative here. If we draw a Super Laser Blast, that looks really nice for us. We did mill out both Search Your Feelings over the last couple turns, so that's something to consider. Dr. Pershing looking pretty bad here, so let's go and resource that one. And I think we just start off by killing Luke. So that's going to be Luke gone. Now they can play their rivals falling. I'm a little bit surprised on that one. Especially since we can take down the Concord Dawn Interceptors and then power the dark side away the Fen Rao. Okay, let's go ahead and give the bounty to Fen Rao. They could have a 1-drop, I suppose. That is a little bit risky. Like if they have an R2, let's just power the dark side away. And I guess in this case, I will flip Dr. Aphra, and I will go ahead and target Vigilance. I will target a Search Your Feelings, and I will target a Power the Dark Side. Still keeps all the aspects in there, and we get just a good card no matter what. Discarded another Power of the Dark Side, so we currently have 1, 2, 3 different cost cards in our discard pile, which is pretty unlucky. But hey, we are 6 HP on the base. They're at 14. Or 14. We're at 6 damage. They're at 14 damage. They're actually close to dead. We have a board state. We actually have a pretty nice drop this turn in Snoke, all of which is really nice for us. They have a Vanquish, sure. You can vanquish us. Let's just go ahead and attack with Aphra. They claimed initiative. Let's just drop a Snoke and let's pass. Evacuate. Not really all that relevant here, but something I will keep regardless. I'll probably just resource this Cloud Rider, because they're on the defensive here. They must actually answer all of my threats here. So I could go for lethal. I think here I actually just want to go Vigilance, defeat, mill. It's going to make them not have their options in their resource pile if they had a removal spell or removal event, which they shouldn't have because it would cost 2 extra. So Fell the Dragon is impossible, Vanquish is impossible, Rivals Fall is impossible. but this just allows us to also mill them out, and we can also attack them at the same time. So now they're at 1 HP away from dying. We got rid of the tech, and we still have both of our units, and we got to use a decent amount of our resources. And if they did have a follow-up, like a 5 resource play or whatever, we had the power of the dark side to follow up, which I think is pretty nice. But I don't really see them being able to do anything. They haven't really had a vigilance target because you need 3 or less HP. So that's going to end the game. So interesting matchup against the Luke Blue. Ended up getting there. On to the next. Into our next matchup, we got ourselves a match against Grand Inquisitor, which is going to be exciting. Now, normally I would keep Fel the Dragon, but Grand Inquisitor is unique in that there's not going to be that many targets for Fel the Dragon in the entire deck. If they're playing the normal double red Grand Inquisitor that I would come to expect, then I would be expecting them to not have literally any cards that we could Fel the Dragon, unless they put like Fallen Lightsaber on something, or like a Hot Shot, a Blaster, or like an upgrade or something like that. We're going to go Greedo turn 1 over Dr. Pershing, even though it isn't resource efficient, because Greedo has power and Dr. Pershing does not. So we can actually kill their unit. Them not having a play on turn 1 is really bad for Grand Inquisitor, generally speaking. Although that doesn't mean they're out of the game yet. It does mean that they're not going to be able to put that much pressure on us here. Let's go ahead and play the client here. So following up the Greedo with the client is pretty excellent, I will say. We discarded a Snoke, so that's an 8 resource play that we discarded. Let's see what they decide to do with the Grand Inquisitor. They're going to claim initiative. Okay, so we're going to hit their base for 3 then. Drew ourselves double Cloud Rider, which looks kind of interesting. I would have liked blue cards that we could have played a Childson as a bigger Sentinel, but that's how the cookie crumbles sometimes. They attack our Greedo, that's fine. We will go ahead and attack their Toro with the client, although I wouldn't expect them to do that. Double red is really looking to get in there for a lot of damage. Okay. We're going to discard a card to Greedo. It's a Vigilance so that we can kill kind of whatever we want. So let's go ahead and kill a Toro here. They're going to deal a damage to the Bounty Hunter. That's fine. Let's go ahead and just Cloud Rider. Kill Toro. So we hit the Vigilance. So that means we have 1, 2, 3, 4 different cost cards in our discard pile. We can get down a Dr. Pershing here as well, which is nice. Okay, they're going to Daring Raid our shield token. Not exactly something that I am particularly scared about, but let's go and attack the Bounty Guild Initiate, and let's pass after they have claimed initiative. Once again, I will resource this Fel the Dragon. Could resource the Childson because that's also not going to be all that relevant, but usually Fel the Dragon, again, has 0 targets in this matchup, so there's no reason to kind of keep it around. Dr. Pershing can start drawing us some cards. Hopefully something good. Clan Challengers, huh? Okay, I'm just going to draw a card here. There's a good chance that they decide to ready up the Clan Challengers, and we can just Frozen and Carbonite the Clan Challengers. So let's go ahead and actually play Inferno 4. Let's top, because I would like to draw Power of the Dark Side here. Frozen and Carbonite. So now they've wasted an additional action, going ahead and readying up the Clan Challengers. They were kind of planning for it. We get to attack with the client. We have a Dr. Pershing. We don't have enough to really get anything of value out of Dr. Aphra, but I think in this stage of the game, we just want to flip her because we're just so far ahead, right? So let's go ahead and choose. We're going to have at least 3 costs left. I'm kind of leaning towards Snoke. Nice, we did get the Snoke. And because we flipped Dr. Aphra, we actually didn't mill off to make an opening, but that's totally fine. I was expecting to not flip Dr. Aphra, but we ended up doing so because our opponent just had the Clan Challengers, and now we can actually just start winning the game. Like, we can start killing our opponent, which is nice. With Dr. Pershing, I could choose to deal damage to either of the client or Dr. Aphra or Inferno 4 or himself. I kind of want to deal damage to the Inferno 4 here. So let's draw a card. Okay, we can make a 6/6 Childson now, which is really nice. Rokai Gunship. Okay, seems reasonable. I think we just kill the Rokai gunship. They could deal another damage to the client if they want. And then try to pick it off with the Tarkin Town. Okay, they will do that. Let's go ahead and play out a Child Sin, reveal all these cards. Now we kept Fennec on top because with Aphra out, we should be able to draw Fennec, and she is dealing currently 4 damage on attack, which would kind of just wipe their whole board of anything that Grand Inquisitor realistically plays. Even if they ready up a Death Watch Loyalist and attack, that's going to be a 6-1 Child Sin, so if they were to attack with Grand Inquisitor, they both just die. They could have a Daring Raid, I suppose, which would be pretty okay, but really not all that excited. Takedown, I think we could bottom that and top the Fennec. Yep, they could attack my Child Sin. Let's attack their base. They're going to claim initiative. Okay, sure. Drew ourselves another Child Sin. I'm probably just going to resource one of them. An embarrassment of riches over here. Let's go and resource one of the Child Sins. I'm just waiting for our opponent to really do something exciting. Okay, sure, they killed my Child Sin. Let's kill their clan challengers. Not that that was really all that scary, but now Power of the Dark Side is turned on, which is nice. And we have a lot of pressure on the board here, so our opponent kind of has to get something real good down. Now they have the Grand Inquisitor flip, but this game just seems pretty over here at this point. Let's draw a card. Could have dealt the damage to the Inferno 4. Probably should have been, or probably was better to do so, but I'm really not that worried here. Let's go and attack into their base. Really don't want to be killing Pershing, generally speaking. I think you're under a decent amount of pressure here. Okay, they're going to be attacking Fennec. I guess they're going to want to trade off both units to kill Fennec. Seems okay to me. They have a guild target. Okay. And then we just drop in a Snoke next turn. I'm going to resource the Frozen Carbonite since we have double Power of the Dark Side here. Let's just go ahead and play a Snoke. Just immediately, just in case they have anything sort of ambushing out. Doesn't kill Grand Inquisitor because it's non-leader units, right? But could potentially be relevant. Besides, even if they attack with Grand Inquisitor, I'm really not that scared. It gives me more options to maybe attack something else with Dr. Aphra. Okay, they attack my Dr. Aphra. Let's attack their base for 2. They play a guild target. Okay, let's attack their base for 5. Okay, we have multiple deadly threats. Let's claim initiative. They open fired. I mean, we just have the Snoke here, which is going to kill them. So that's going to be probably game. Don't really see double red getting out of this spot. They had a triple guild target. They had the Bounty Guild Initiate with the Toro Calican, which is kind of sweet. Overall, though, not really going to get there. They can deal damage to Snoke. It does not matter. We have won the game already. Boom. And we'll just smack their base. Not having a turn 1 play with Grand Inquisitor could be a very rough experience, especially when you're trying to be the aggro deck. But nice game. On to the next one. All right. So we're in our next matchup, and we have kind of a weak hand. I think this is a mulligan. I like the Inferno 4, but the rest of our hand's pretty weak. And against Boba Green, we do not want to falter all that often. Avenger, I wanted to resource the restock, but that's okay. That's okay. I don't think it's going to be all that relevant. Let's go ahead and play an Inferno 4. Let's bottom. Really don't want to be seeing those 2 cards. Let's pass, and we discarded a Super Laser Blast, and we drew our Bounty Hunter Crew and Child Sin. So pretty terrible couple of things that just happened. Let's go to resource the restock. I probably would have resourced the Fell the Dragon at this point anyways. Let's go ahead and attack for 2. And I mean, the Dr. Evazan is going to be pretty exciting for us because we can do some pretty nice things, like probably resourcing this Bounty Hunter Crew, take down the Dr. Evazan, fell the dragon, something else if they're playing something expensive, or just play a Lieutenant Childson as a 4/4 Sentinel. So this is going to give us a bunch of resources back. We could even kept the Dr. Evazan on the board. Ooh, they're going to play the Mercenary Gunship. I think I'm actually just going to yoink the Mercenary Gunship. I think I'm just going to use my resources on that. So they're going to claim initiative. Let's go ahead and attack with the Inferno 4, and let's pass. Double Dr. Pershing. Not exactly a card that I'm super excited to see, but that's okay. If they yoink the Mercenary Gunship again, I think I'm going to yoink it again. But we'll see. Okay, they yoinked it. Let's yoink it back. And then we will attack with Inferno 4. I will then attack with the Mercenary Gunship. And we will just claim initiative. Kind of a fun one. Let's resource this restock. Don't think it's going to be all that relevant. And let's just attack with the Mercenary Gunship. If they have a Fet's Fire Spray, we get to knock that down. Let's go ahead and attack with Inferno 4. Relentless Pursuit, huh? So they can go ahead and yoink our Inferno 4. They should have gotten an additional shield token on this Boba Fett, right? No. Just the one shield token. Okay. So what do we want to do here? I can't do this on a leader unit. We could return a bunch of stuff, try to get a super laser blast. I could vigilance. I think I'll flip Aphra to try to get a super laser blast. Okay, we got a Snoke. That's okay. But if they want to kill my guy, I think I'm fine with that as well. Let's just go ahead and play a Childson for a big amount here. And the reason I'm doing this is I would like to get a Pershing down and protect it a little bit. Okay, they have a Forlom. That's fine. This works out pretty nicely for us. Okay, Fennec Shand. What does that do for us here? So Fennec currently hits for, wow, that's a really bad assortment of discard. We just discarded a Super Laser Blast. So we have currently 3 aspects, 3 costs in our discard pile right now, which is really weak. What do we want to do here? Cloud Rider. How many Cloud Riders can we draw? I really don't want the Cloud Riders. Okay, they're going to steal that. That's fine. I think I'm just going to Vigilance, Defeat, Heal. Kill off the Mercenary Gunship. They're going to attack for 6. We're going to claim initiative. And, wow. I mean, we drew Fennec and another Snoke. Okay. Let's just draw a card, I guess. My goodness, we're really looking for a Super Laser Blast or something here. Let's fell the dragon. I think we go ahead in the client. And we pass. Vigilance could be okay. Make an opening could be interesting. Let's go ahead and resource one of these Snokes. Cloud Rider, kill the Pershing. Okay, so we can make an opening. I think we just bounty up the Cloud Rider here and then make an opening, heal 7. Seems pretty good. I guess we could Vigilance, heal, defeat. Heal 10. And if they play something else, we get to go ahead and Frozen and Carbonite it. Seems pretty good. I like that. Yeah, let's Frozen and Carbonite the Zuckuss. Really would just love to find a solid card to deal with this Boba Fett. Rivals Fall, where are you? I don't know. They're going to Mock Clunky back something. Ooh, Power of the Dark Side. Finally, my goodness, that took forever. Okay, so we're gonna power the dark side. Pretty straightforward. I'm gonna do it before because healing the 5 is actually just worse than taking 6, right? So power the dark side, kill the Boba Fett. That's what I was waiting for. Now we have a Fennec Shan to kind of clean up the game. If they play a Zuckuss, we now have 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Not quite enough. Oh, that's gonna kill them all though. You can kill the client. They're gonna claim initiative. That's fine. We drew ourselves another vigilance. That's awesome. We have 1 restock, 2 restock at our resource pile. We have no restocks at our discard pile. We have a bounty hunter crew. Okay, so we're actually close to kind of milling out. So we got to start mill heal. Whoops, I meant to defeat. In my mind, I was thinking defeat, but we did not do that at all. That's okay, though. Commission, huh? Okay, so they're going to commission, probably grab a... Oh, man. They're going to probably grab a Fett's Fire Spray. Oh, they're going to grab... What are they... Oh. Do they... Oh, they revealed a Greedo. Oh, that's really weak. We just get to Snoke and search your feelings for... Oh, we milled our last restock. Okay, so we actually cannot loop anymore. Let's just play a Snoke. And then what do we want to do afterwards? We can power the dark side and power the dark side. I guess they can attack with Zuckuss first. Wow, they have Overwhelming Barrage here. Okay, nice. That's pretty good for them. We've milled all 3 Super Laser Blasts. We have all 3 Vigilance in the discard pile. We have all the restocks in our discard pile or on our resource pile. Wow. Okay. I think we've lost. This could be... I mean, we are going to need to play pretty aggressively here. Let's power the dark side. Then kill the Zuckuss, or they can kill their Forlom. They're going to kill their Forlom. Let's attack for 2. We kind of just need to kill them. They have a commission that they're going to smuggle out. Let's see what they grab. They have the ECL with Zuckuss, which is pretty nice. Fett's Fire Spray. Okay, that can't actually come down this turn. We're going to claim initiative. They have a timely intervention for a 7th fleet. I love it. I love it. Let's bottom top. I don't want Greedo or Cloud Rider, but I don't want to mill something that's actually good. Okay, so Frozen and Carbonite can be pretty nice. And I think in this spot, I actually don't want to resource anything, so it's not. Let's go Fennec Shand, kill. Lurking Tie. Let's go Inferno 4. Bottom, top. Don't care about Search Your Feelings. We're going to have that milled. We're going to pass. Frozen and Carbonite. Get the Fett's Fire Spray. They're going to claim initiative. We're going to pass. Draw ourselves the Client and Child Sin. Pass. They're going to exhaust who? Fennec or Inferno? Well, they can't even exhaust, actually, because it's a non-unique unit. Okay, they're going to attack in. Let's just go ahead and... Do I want a Rivals Fall here? I think I will attack. Oh, man, this is a tricky one. Let's attack their base for 4. Because they had to have drawn an answer to Fennec. The smart play here for them would be to attack my base for 3. And then if they have an answer to Fennec, then they do it afterwards. Because I have to claim initiative here. I don't have any outs. I don't have Vigilance in my deck. I don't have Super Laser Blasts. They claimed initiative. Okay, so what we're going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and kill their TIE Phantom, kill their TIE Defender, and then Childson to give us multiple threats here that are actually going to win the game. Bounty Hunter's Quarry. All right. GG. This looks very similar, if not the exact same list that I was talking about in my Boba Green video, and it was pretty scary. The only thing about Boba Green with this kind of list is things like your like Boba Fett's armor, things like your Mach Clunky, those types of cards are pretty weak in this matchup. Although I think I played Lurking TIE Phantom in the sideboard, so this probably isn't my deck list, as that's something I didn't run in the main board, I'm pretty sure. But anyways, on to the next one. Into our next matchup against, oh boy, got some Sabine Green here. I'm gonna go to resource this Fennec Shand and this Lieutenant Childson. It's actually a pretty good hand. We got turn 1 Greedo, turn 2 Power, turn 3 Childson for hopefully 5 if we draw a couple blue cards. So we're gonna kind of pay attention to that, because that's kind of gonna be our goal here, is to get our Childson down. This is a tough matchup for sure, but we're going to go Greedo. Greedo can potentially trade with anything here on the ground, which is going to be pretty nice. Mon Mothma. Okay, never mind. This Sabine Green list is already crazy. Wing Leader is revealed. All right. So we're going to claim initiative, and I think I will just kill the Mon Mothma here, as if they Wing Leader it up, that's kind of unfortunate. Drew ourselves a Search Your Feelings and a Super Laser Blast. Not exactly what I'm looking to draw, but at least it is a blue card. Drew discarded a Vigilance here. Really unfortunate. Would have loved to have the Vigilance, but that is how it goes. Mon Mothma, we're gonna discard a card, just so that we can get another card in our discard pile for Aphra to be a 5/5. Grief Karga. Yeah, I have no idea what's happening anymore. I don't even think they got a card off of Grief Karga. I'm going to claim initiative. Ideally, we draw 2 more blue cards here, and I can resource one of them. Heck, just a blue card, just not 2 yellow cards. Okay, Cloud Rider resourced, make a 6/6 Childson, and say, okay, opponent, can you deal with this? And if they can't, then that's going to be pretty rough for them. 4 resources, they could ECL out like a K2. They are playing a little bit of a strange build of Sabine Green, so who knows what they could have. If they're playing Grief Karga, I'm imagining they're trying to look for like Dark Sabers and stuff. They could put a Dark Saber over on Sabine, which would be pretty nice. But Daring Raid to start them off is not that crazy, because they can no longer ECL out a K2. They could ECL out like a Night Owl Skirmisher, I guess, to kill it. But that's really not all that impressive. They can ready up Sabine. I don't know. They ready up Sabine, put like a Jedi lightsaber. They can't even do that, but like, I don't even know. Wing Leader. Oh man, they thought Grief Karga was a rebel. Yeah, they undo. They're gonna have to ready up Sabine and put the experience tokens over on Sabine, because that's not gonna work. They're gonna have to undo all the way back to the beginning of the turn. Okay, they pass. Never mind. The game's probably over now. We've drawn Vigilance and Snoke. I'm going to go and resource the Snoke. He said, I hate playing on mobile. Yeah, that'll do it sometimes. Let's go ahead and just kill their Sabine. We have Make an Opening, which can kill Grief Karga, can kill Wing Leader. I should say the game's over, because there are still ways we could die, especially since our leader flip is really not that scary. We did discard a Takedown, by the way, so we do have 4 different cost cards. If I flip Aphra, I will be trying to get Takedown, Supreme Leader Snoke, or Vigilance. Let's go ahead and Make an Opening the Wing Leader here, just get rid of it. Now the board is completely clear. If they play like a Poe Dameron, looks like they play a Cassian. So in that case, I will ready up, and I will try to get a Childson, a Snoke, and a Vigilance here. Get ourselves a second Vigilance. Awesome. Let's go ahead and claim initiative now. Inferno 4 and Fell the Dragon. Okay. Probably resource the Inferno 4 here. And I took initiative here because I didn't think I wanted to attack, but I'm going to attack the Cassian because I will play this Vigilance here, defeat Cassian, probably heal 5. So let's play Vigilance, heal, defeat. Back down to 2 damage on base. Fell the Dragon can kill Wrecker if it wants to come down. It can kill Poe Dameron if it wants to come down. Those are the 2 cards that we're really scared about. I wouldn't be expecting like a Crate Dragon, but I guess that could potentially happen. Not to mention, if they do use all the resources this turn, we get to go Fell the Dragon into Power of the Dark Side, which sets us up really for the following turn. Looks like they have an ECL Wrecker. Okay, so that's the ECL gone. They definitely want to ambush first, and that's what they're going to be doing. So that's nice for them. They're going to hit us for a decent chunk. We're going to claim initiative. So they have ECL Wrecker. Get some damage on our base. We have a restock and a Dr. Pershing. I guess we'll resource the Dr. Pershing here. We have a lot of cards in hand. Let's go Fell the Dragon, kill that. We have Power of the Dark Side, as I mentioned earlier. So they're playing Grief Karga, and they're playing Mon Mothma. I'm not 100% sure that I'd be all that excited about those cards in like a deck with Wreckers and Poes and stuff. I don't know if they have Poes, but it's possible. Okay, so they dealt us 3, and then they played a 4 cause. They revealed Battlefield Marine, Fleet Lieutenant, Green Squadron A-Wing, and Poe Dameron. So they put a card back on top. I assume that's going to be Poe Dameron. It is, and we're going to claim initiative. They're going to deal 1 to us, and we draw ourselves an Avenger, and we have the Super Laser Blast. So I think we resource the restock, because we're probably going to go ahead and go with Rival's Fall here, and then just play out a Cloud Rider. Although it's possible if they do something different, then we do something different. Remember, we know that they have the Poe Dameron, and they probably didn't resource this since they kept it on top. Otherwise, you would keep any card on top. They played a Sabine Wren. Awesome. Let's go ahead and Cloud Rider it. They're going to play a Poe Dameron afterwards, and we're going to Rivals Fall it, and then we're going to follow up with Avenger here to kind of close out the game. There's a chance that they have something else, but Cloud Rider worked perfectly in this scenario because they're trying to make us use that removal first half, and this ended up giving us the perfect amount of resources to do all of it, right? That is awesome. It would have worked fine as well to Vigilance, heal, defeat, and then play the Avenger on the next turn, even though we couldn't play the Rivals Fall. This is a little bit more of the safer route, as if we did it the other way, we could have been in a spot where maybe they just have a ton of things to play on the following turn, and we're on the back foot. But they're going to deal 1 damage with Sabine. We're going to pass again. If they take initiative, that's fine. Because now they have to take the first action, right? Like, sure. But now we get an extra card. They have another 4 cause. Okay, so they drew their second 4 cause. They got themselves a Daring Rain. That's going to do some damage, huh? They put all 4 on top of their deck, huh? They want all 4 of these. Okay, let's drop an Avenger here. Our opponent did something to use up a couple of their resources. They are going high on the resource total. I'm a little bit surprised about that. They have a Fleet Lieutenant. Let's claim initiative. They're going to deal 1. Let's see if they have another card. No, they do not. Okay, so that's a little bit surprising as well. Let's resource one of these Super Laser Blasts. Here we have a Vigilance plus nothing else because we don't have enough resources, but I'm just going to go ahead and play out. I guess we can go Bounty Hunter's Crew instead. I guess we can pick up the other Vigilance. Yeah, I like that, actually. Let's go Bounty Hunter's Crew. Let's pick up the... Do we want other Vigilance or Power of the Dark Side? Actually, I just want Power of the Dark Side. Let's resolve this ambush attack. Power of the Dark Side is going to allow us to kind of just do a bunch of damage to our opponent's kind of units that could potentially come in. Timely intervention out. Oh no, they have a timely. Wow, that wins the game for them. That is something I should have thought about. Yeah, that's something I should have thought about. I didn't think about, ambushing a Wrecker because ECL's down, but they have Daring Raid in hand because they put it on top, assuming they kept it on top. But they should have Daring Raid. I'm surprised they haven't used Daring Raid. Like, the game should have been over. Did they not keep it? Okay, so that is something I should have thought about, which was another ECL'd Wrecker, essentially. But now we just win because they didn't keep Daring Raid. I'm not sure what happened there because they kept all 4 on top. You can see here in the chat box, they kept all 4 on top, which means they had Red 3, Fleet Lieutenant, Daring Raid, and Poe Dameron. They must have resourced the Daring Raid, which doesn't really make sense in that stage of the game when I'm at 22 HP. They are a Sabine deck. They can give me up to 24. That's 25 damage next turn at the minimum. If they draw another 4 cards, that's kind of their out, right? So I'm surprised they resourced that. But I also misplayed there. I should not have played the Bounty Hunters crew. Again, I just slipped my mind that they could also just timely intervention out a Wrecker. We hadn't seen it, but that was something I should have assumed, given that they are playing kind of after the Grief Karga, the Mon Mothma, like a pretty standard Sabine green deck. And I should have just gone with, instead of Bounty Hunters crew, I should have just Vigilance healed and just did that one play. I was looking to Bounty Hunters crew plus have Power of the Dark Side if they went with something like a couple units in a single turn. But I had Avenger. I was pretty safe to just heal and then set up for next turn by defeating whatever they play. And heck, if they did go with the 1 damage to each base, I even had lethal on the next turn, which you guys saw right there. So they couldn't really do that. So I think it would have been safer to go with the Vigilance play. But anyways, that was really close. So 29 damage doesn't really get closer than that. And 25 on our opponents again. They literally just had Sabine action there, and we would have lost. Anyways, let's talk about the final thoughts about this deck and wrap up. So what do we learn about Aphra control, guys? It was a struggle. It was a pretty big struggle. I played a bunch of games of Aphra control in the past, but in kind of preparation for messing around with this video and stuff, I was just playing and tuning the Aphra list over the past couple of days. And this is kind of the final iteration that I ended up with. But it was tough. Like, I did not win maybe 50% of the games I won. And that's like pretty below average when you're considering Karabas, because a lot of people are playing with kind of just whatever decks. They're just messing around, or maybe they just haven't played with that deck before and something happens, whatever it is. Usually your win rate on Karabas with a lot of decks is, if you ask a lot of people, it's going to be somewhere around like 62%, anywhere from like 58, 62% is what I've noticed on average. So seeing like 50% win rate on Dr. Aphra is pretty weak. Now, you even saw there on the first, I think, 2 games, like it felt like we were able to kind of compete. And then at some point, our opponents just kind of overwhelmed us. Like the Han Blue just kept playing bomb after bomb after bomb. It's really hard for Control to deal with that. Not to mention the way we're trying to win, which is kind of doing that restock Bounty Hunters crew and Vigilance and Search Your Feelings. Like that's taking up a lot of slots in the deck. Restock's 3, Vigilance is 3, Bounty Hunters crew is 1. That's 7 slots on its own. Search Your Feelings, I usually like 1 copy of those anyways, but like that's 8 cards in addition to what we're doing. Not that we wouldn't play Vigilance necessarily. So if you were to like not count Vigilance or not count one of the Search Your Feelings in another control deck, that'd be 1, potentially 3 more, because Restock's really not that great. It's more of a sideboard card now that control's kind of meh, or it's soft control. So I wouldn't be playing main deck Restocks. I wouldn't be playing main deck Bounty Hunter crew. So that's a total of 5 cards that's in our deck. That's not really that great. Same thing with like Dr. Pershing. That card can be a little bit weaker, especially since what we're trying to be doing in this deck is, getting all the pieces together to kind of get through the game, where you wouldn't necessarily be playing that in another soft control list, like Kira Green, for example. And I think that's the big difference, is this tends towards more hard control. And again, I think hard control is really struggling. The soft control list, where you're playing units on every single point of the curve and trying to like compete with your opponent's board state, I think ends up being way, way better. And Vader Blue can do that a little bit better. Bobo Blue can do that a lot better. Kira Green, Krennic Green, that type of stuff. I will say the card that impressed me the most was Fennec Shan. That card felt like it was able to just completely dominate the board. And I had been pretty impressed with Fennec. Like initially I started off with 1 copy and I went up to 2. We didn't even use Evacuate a single time just because it didn't really line up with the rest of the cards that we had in the matchup. But I probably would have gone up to full 3 of Fennec Shans because those just felt so powerful. Another card that felt pretty good was Cloud Rider. Cloud Rider ended up just overperforming in basically every single scenario. But it was funny because most of the games that we ended up winning were games that we just kind of closed out the game with attacks. So that's something you have to remember, is even though we do have the vigilance restock, plan, that's not really going to come into play even against the decks that are trying to go late game, right? Like Han Blue, it can go into the late game and it's pretty scary because they have Crate Dragons and they have Chewbacca's and they have Podamarins and Lukes, and every single thing that they play is kind of like a must kill. Like if Podamarin attacks a single time, it's 8 damage to our base and makes us discard a card potentially. Like that is crazy fast damage. And Crate Dragon, sometimes it's a multiple card deal, especially with Aphra, where you're trying to recycle your discard pile to deal with it, and you just get wrecked. So overall, Aphra control, really fun. I really like the regroup phase, discard a card, and kind of messing around with your discard pile, constantly having to pay attention to that, using the restocks and things like that, trying to remember the bottom cards of your deck so you figure out what you're drawing. The Fennec Shan is a sweet combination with her. I just don't find her very powerful. You even saw that even though we're running a pretty kind of like even curve with the exception of 5 resource plays, which could have helped, we weren't even able to get that 5/5 Aphra flip all that frequently on turn 5. We were able to get it like frequently, but not on turn, or not turn 5, turn 4, when Aphra can flip ASAP. And that's mainly because, well, it's just hard to do unless, even if you have, let's say, 10 of each aspect or 10 of each cost, or even less than that. Like, let's say you have like 5 of each cost all the way up to 10 resources. That's just going to be tough to do regardless, because you do have to get a little bit lucky in what you're playing in order to get that 5/5 on turn 4. Not to mention, Aphra herself returns a card from your discard pile, so you do have to be careful about that. So if she flipped as a 5/5 every time and drew you a card from a discard pile, like that can be potentially interesting because it actually acts as a removal spell, removal unit like Akira, but unfortunately that's not the case. So a little bit weak there. Overall, fun deck, not exactly extremely powerful. And I will say this is one of those decks where I feel like I'm struggling the entire time I'm playing it. I feel like I'm never ahead until I finally win the game. Finn, for example, did not feel that way, which is a little bit surprising. So just something to keep in mind. I think Aphra is truly one of the hardest decks to play right now. Thanks for watching, everyone, and I'll see you all for the next one.